have a younger brother that's also a musician, right?
He plays a fair bit, yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering what advice you would give to young musicians about the industry.
None. I guess that everybody's got to learn. Everybody's got to make their own mistakes. You know, and there's various amounts of. And then, it's part of the fun. It's part of the growing up thing, and there's a lot of surprises, both negative and positive, around the corner in this business, which makes it incredibly interesting. You know, and at the end of the day, then, you know, after, let's say, being 10 years doing this, for example, myself now, I see, you know, I read a biography, and I'm seeing a lot of myself in there. And obviously, when we started out, I thought I'd never go into a rehab and get myself in a bad shape, or, you know, do this or that. Yeah. But nearly everything's happened. The only thing is I'm not dead yet, but you know, that'll happen eventually.
That can be arranged.
That can be arranged, yeah. That could be the Thanksgiving turkey. But
a little bit of cannibal delight.
So no, it doesn't, because all bands, for example, are so very fucking different. I was just talking about it to my little bro. You know, you're just talking on an ordinary level. You know, just about the relationship he has with the rest of the guys in the band he's playing with, and it's very different than what we have. So you can't compare, because some people do this to get their egos massaged. Some people do it in the high hopes of glamour and fast cars and maybe, you know, chicks and stuff. And then some people like us do it because of music. Whatever else is there along the way, that's a bonus. But you know, the main focus is the music, and that's how we started. So that's the main difference. The basic reason why people do it. It's the same as like talking about alcoholism. Why do people drink? They don't drink because of booze. There's always underlying issues somewhere. And for musicians, it's the same. Because usually the most creative, you know, fucked up original individuals who change the world of music through their songs, they're usually really sick, and they're the ones who die young.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. And you know, you've got to remember, if you tour a lot, you travel a lot, obviously that takes a lot of years off. Your time is not, you know, you don't go by a 7-day week with 5 days of work and 2 days off, or, you know, or half a day on a Saturday. You know, we tend to try to do like 4 to 5 gigs in a row, then have a day off and do it again, as long as it takes. So your weekends keep on changing their place, so that, you know, we don't go by 300 and you know, something days. We go by albums. One album is 1 year for us, I guess. It's the one you know, one kind of trip. You know, writing, producing, you know, rehearsing, recording, touring, doing everything, and then when it's over, that's kind of like, then the year is done, and that year usually lasts for about 2.5 years, and it takes, you know, 20 years, you know, off, you know.
So that would make you
about 120.
You know, we're getting close to Dracula bit by bit.
Sorry, you're talking about being that old, and then you're talking about being a raisin.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Comes to mind a strange picture.
It was really bad metaphor. The grapefruit. I'm totally sorry I ever mentioned it.
Oh, no,
but
just call me AR from now on. Ancient raisin.
It's just small and helpless.
You know, that makes me think of that stupid commercial
hold
for
it in
dancing
your hand.
raisins.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You don't want to, it's scary. It'll give you nightmares.
I can't dance.
You can't dance?
No.
I don't believe
Bird can tap dance. I can't dance.
What?
He can tap dance.
Yeah.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah.
Make him do that.
It's really sick. I don't know what the hell.
You know, it's like when one day, if we get the opportunity of playing stadiums and shit, you know, all the big bands, they play 3 hours, which usually means 15 songs, and then everybody has their own, like, wanky, you know, guitar solo bit, so he's not going to do a keyboard solo, but a tap dance solo.
Tap dance.
That'd be great. Imagine all the lights and effects. Everybody could, the guys could cook or something. We do something very, you know, something out. I could read for half an hour.
Oh yeah.
Just to myself, not allowed.
Well, we could do something macabre.
Yeah, well, we could do, incorporate
kind of
sexual activities.
No, not necessarily sexual. Maybe this is like more H.P. Lovecraft kind of a sort of a reenactment of
Now that sounds
Charles
like-
Dexter Ward's suffering.
Fair enough.
It sounds like an interesting show.
Yeah.
I'm sure people would pay money.
I can brew the essential salts out of you. And then summon you back.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay, now I'm scared.
Yeah. So now you know what to expect when we hit the stadiums in Canada.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to
HP.
that.
Black magic and tap dancing.
I was going to ask you what you were reading right now.
I'm reading the last of the Clive Barker book, Mr. Be Gone. I'm reading that, and I just finished Nikki Sixx's Heroin Diaries. Then I got a book by Chelsea Kane called Heartsick. Then, hold on. It'll just take me 30 seconds. It's pretty good stuff. It's
What
really
do you do
interesting.
with all your books anyway?
What?
I noticed you said you read a lot. What do you do with all your books when you're done with them?
Well, I have a library back home.
Oh, so you can.
Yeah. I always, for some reason, it's like CDs. Never throw them away. Never, ever. In any case, even if you're lacking money. I once did, and I'm so pissed off. So I had a lot of CDs that never were reprinted. You know, not something particularly valuable in money or valuable in music. Stuff like that. It's very hard to get nowadays. You can't get it on iTunes, like reggae albums from the year, whatever it might be. So I'm really pissed off at that. But so I keep everything. They look nice, and then it's as reference when you're reading a book, and you got similar, books on similar subject. You can always do. I really rarely reread anything. It's really interesting.
Ja, ett stycke.
No. The acclaimed metaphysical epic that binds together cosmological phenomena of our time, ranging from crop circles to quantum theory to worldwide resurgence of shamanism, to support the contention of the Mayan calendar that year 2012 portends global shift in consciousness, culture, and a way of living of unprecedented consequence. Or unprecedented. How do you?
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented consequence. So it's like part memoir. It's just some guy who used to write for New York Times, Esquire, Wired, Village Voice, LA Weekly. So it's kind of like him just going through just kind of paranormal, kind of weird stuff, and then just like joining it all up together because the Mayan calendar says that that's the last year. You know, a lot of people say that that's the doomsday is going to happen in that year because that's where the Mayan calendar, that's where it ends. So that's the last year in that book.
Yeah.
Just it's fairly
So you read
cool.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I tend to. There's UFO shit here. Everything.
Oh, that's always good.
So it's like everything's like mixed.
Have you ever thought of writing your own book?
No. Well, like shit like beyond the apocalypse and blue-eyed Jesus awaited by the faithful, another rough beast slouches towards us. The biosphere crisis of such magnitude that it will touch the life of every person on Earth. We are being confronted by something so completely outside of our collective experience that we don't really see it, even when the evidence is overwhelming. For us, that something is a blitz of enormous biological and physical alterations in the world that has been sustaining us, writes Ed Ayers, editorial director of The World Watch.
Awesome.
There's just like all kinds of weird shit in this book collected in one. I love it.
That's cool.
So that's good. Is that I love Chuck Palahniuk, so he says with Gretchen Lowell, Chelsea Kane gives us the most compelling, most original serial killer since Hannibal Lecter. And as I love Heartsick, what kind of music I do, it just felt good. Secret History of Lucifer. This is one of those like bullshit books like the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
And the meaning of the true Da Vinci Code, it says. But
There you go.
this is actually about the history of Lucifer, him being Luxifera in Latin, the bringer of the light, the kind of like the Enlightenment movement, back in like maybe 1700s, Isaac Newton, everybody like that, they were called Luciferian or Luciferian at one point. That was actually not a cult, but a term loosely binding up different artists and different people who were changing the world because it was time of enlightenment, realizing new possibilities and new things that the Westboro Church, Baptist Church, doesn't appreciate. And Joe Hill, he's really good. Hot Shake Box is his first novel, and this is his first short story collection. Great writer on ghost stories. He's one of the best, new voices in horror. And then, obviously, vampires, in their own words, an anthology of vampire voices. So this is actually just a collection of real vampires, or people who really actually do drink blood, or consider themselves being psychic vampires or whatever. I've been reading a few books on the same topic, and they're fairly entertaining. You know, how people get so sucked in through the popular culture and through Bram Stoker that they actually invent their own, not necessarily pseudo-magical, but their own realm in which they live, own subculture.